Hello everyone, this is Frank Martone, and I'm going to show you a little bit of how I do my folder naming conventions and my file naming conventions. For the example, I'm going to use my OneDrive. I'm sure everybody knows by now that I like to use the cloud for all of my files. So we're going to go into this. This is OneDrive, and you see all the folders, they're named according to how I would use them. Not everybody's going to use the same name. But what I'm going to show you here is I work at two different campuses. One is Rasmus, which is the Rosenstiel campus, and the other one is C-Stars. We're going to open that up. And you see here I would have a choice of going to either one of the campuses, Rasmus or C-Stars or Rasmus. I'm going to go into the C-Stars campus. And then these are all of my folder naming conventions within here. And how I name them is what makes sense to me. So everybody's folder naming conventions are not going to be the same, but it has to be something that makes sense to you. So let's go into the administration of the C-Stars campus. All right, here you'll see, here's my P card. These are my annual service agreement, and these are all of the things pertaining to this particular campus. You can see here deferred maintenance projects, 2014, 2015, 2016. And here are my requests for 2018. This will be for the fiscal year, which starts in June. I'm going to kind of give you an example of how this all ties together. Here are some things that I worked on in this particular year. These are projects that I did in 2014. So we can come back into admin and let's look at some projects for 2015. Oh, we had a lot more going on here. You see here's all of the scope of work for the various projects that I did. Now these are building numbers, and these building numbers correlate to some of these projects that I'm going to be doing. The painting's already been done. That was done this year, so I could go into the next year. We could go back here and go into 2016, and hopefully, I'm still having a little bit of problems with this. There it is. There's your building painting. You see? So there's everything that went along with that particular project. So you can see just everything to me is done in a logical way. Here's the painters. Let's see, let's go to some other, like here, UPS, battery replacement. Here, I did some fire suppression. Okay, see, I had a fire suppression project. So within that, you're going to see the different companies that gave me quotes. And then here's the actual project itself. There's the approval for it, there's wiring diagram. Everything pertaining to that project is underneath this, including once it was completed, we had what was done as a door fan test. So there's all of the files that pertain to that particular project. Everything I do is like that. It's very, very organized. Here's my annual service agreement. These are all of the people that have annual service agreements with University of Miami in this particular campus. So every one of these, and if I open this up, it'll show that they've been doing their quarterly inspections. Everything flows. So, we were looking for depth. Depth isn't necessarily the way to do files. Obviously, the years progress. I could have, put this all within the same folder, but for me, it's a lot easier to go year by year and just to be able to do what I need to see. So look, here are invoices that I get from different projects, my alarm system, just everything I do. These are all the things I deal with. I had to place termite tenant, so that's there. This is some TV installations that were done. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. But it's very organized for me. So here's some things that I'm working on now. I could have shown you back a ways. Remember, I don't know if you look, but I started this 2 years ago, and now it's coming to fruition. Actually, the roofs will be starting on the 20th of this month. So typically it takes about 2 years for a project to get approved, get the funding, get all the bids, and then of course I have to rebid it again. Here's a scope of work that was used for, I generally produce these scopes of work in a Word document, and then I will make it into a PDF to send out to the various vendors. So this is something that's going to come into fruition in this fiscal year. Here's another project, the window proposal. So this is also coming in. So there was windows and doors, and then the stucco work to repair everything after it's done. This project will be starting right after the roofs. So you can see that everything just flows. All of the data flows from one place to another. The reason I put everything under administration, or admin as I put it, is because this is all administrative duties that I have at this particular campus. Real deep, again, I don't do things very deeply. I do them logic-based. So there we go. There's a scope of work for the 2 buildings that are getting brand new impact windows. And then, of course, then it goes into, there's proposals that I'm receiving. Just everything flows. Now, this is on the cloud, and this is my business files. Now, I could go here and, let's see, we'll take a look at something else here. Let me bring this over. If we were going to do my personal files, we come in here, and here's all of my personal files. Again, the same kind of data. Here's my BGS degree. And actually, here's our class. There's everything to do with our class. There's some of the videos I made, the different folders. Everything I do it with folder naming convention and file naming convention so that it makes sense to me. Now, everybody's going to be a little different, the way they do things. So anyway, that's how I do my files. That's my personal way of naming my folders and naming my files so that I know what everything is. Frank Martone, University of Miami, Facilities Project Coordinator. Have a great day.